Today, in 2018, the Muslims of India stand in a much worse position than they did in 1857 or in 1947. In 1857, there was a crème de la crème, especially of Muslims, literators, poets, academics in the entire North India and even in the South. In 1947, there were the remnants of leaders of the Muslim League who betrayed the Muslims very swiftly. Chaudhry Khalid-ur-Zaman took an oath of allegiance to the Indian flag and decamped in a burqa. So did Hussain Imam and Z.H. Lari. What is the status today? They are totally demoralized. In 1947, there was Jawaharlal Nehru to look up to. And I remember in the 1953 general election, the slogan which ran in the Muslim areas, I was a young student and I used to attend some of the rallies, Jawaharlal Nehru ki haath mazboot karo. The truth was that he was virtually in a minority. You will find it in Director S. Gopal. That in the cabinet, he had very little support. Tariq, Maulana Azad, Rafi Ahmad Kirwai or two others. The bulk, Dada Vallabhbhai Patel, Gajendra Prasad, and others. And he wrote to Gajendra Jatav, all the major chief ministers were hostile to Muslims. Ravi Shankar Shukla, B.C. Roy, Moraji Desai was an overbearing understudy of B.G. Kher. Govindalal Pant, the father of the Ayodhya tragedy, all of them. And Pandit Nehru wrote to him as late as 1950, I can't enter UP now, I feel a stranger. Today they are demoralized, they are confused, they have no leadership, and they feel wronged and betrayed. Leaderless, educationally, they are backward. There's a rampant discrimination in the services, in education, and in housing. People like Shabana Azmi and others who are not too forthcoming on Muslim issues, I was as I know too forthcoming, they have to suffer. Police record is abysmal. I saw Mr. Vibhuti Narayan Rai here, who's done global work on the Hashipura massacre. In 1857, there was the British who could look up to. In 1947, there was Jawaharlal Nehru and for some time Gandhi. And there were remnants of the old congressmen who believed in secular values. Today, the Muslim membership of the Lok Sabha has sunk to an all-time low, 22. The Prime Minister took oath at his first speech in the Lok Sabha. He referred to 1,000 years of slavery, which is the RSS line. It wasn't 200 years of slavery of the British. It was the so-called Muslim rule. Mind you, as the historian Robila Thapar said, they were not Muslims. They were Pathans, they were Mughals, from Central Asians, and the Hindus of the time did not regard them as Muslim except incidentally. Anyway, in 1947 there came a great betrayal. The Lahore Resolution second part said adequate effective mandatory safeguards for the minorities in both India and Pakistan. But in 1947, Mr. Muhammad Ali Jinnah said to accomplish Pakistan and prepare to smash the Muslims in the rest of India. Smacked, as if we were his property to barter away or smack. This was in Kanpur in 1951. You'll find it in Capability Analysis volumes. When 1947 came, there was no agreement on minorities at all. The June 3 plan on partition didn't have a line on minorities. We were non-existent. So, on the 22nd July, this day formed, and Gajendra met Kurd Muslim leaders, the only record of his exposition of the Muslim problem in India after partition. He told the Kurdis, don't pick up small fights. Be educationally advanced, economically. You will have to pass through ordeals. He knew that. You will have to go through a lot of trouble. But I'm sure, and he made repeated references to God, and whose devotion he was not too notable. Anyway, there was one glimmer of hope. Sir Abdullah Harun, the Muslim League's last paragraph, authorized the framing of a scheme which provided finally for the resumption of sovereign powers. And Ambedkar was the only one to pick up the word finally and said, this envisages an interim center. They set up a committee to draft the scheme. And such was the bankruptcy of the Congress leadership that they never took Jira at his word and said, please answer the following questions. As Ambedkar wrote his book, Pakistan or Partition of India, Gandhi filtered away the opportunity by asking him to define Muslims, asked him to define what a majority is, instead of asking pointed questions on Lahore resolution. Anyway, the Harun report said we must have a coordinating agency between the two parts. And he specifically mentioned Indian Muslims. In those days, was said Hindustan and Pakistan. Nothing came. Excuse me. Shut it. So, there came this partition, and Qaid-e-Azam said the Muslim minorities on both sides should be loyal, and he told the Kurdi Muslims that your fate will depend on India-Pakistan relations. Incidentally, that was also Jawaharlal Nehru's thesis. So, Indian Muslims became hostages to the relations between India and Pakistan. In December 47, the All India Muslim League met in Karachi. And for the first time in his life, Jinnah was questioned. What about us? You have not read the resolution carefully. Actually, they had read the resolution carefully, but for such of the awe. However, every single Muslim League leader of North India said, we don't want a Muslim League in India. But Qaid-e-Azam and Liaquat Ali and Abdullah Nishta said, they'll be lost to Islam. So we must have a Muslim League, others they'll go for Maulana Azad. As a matter of fact, after partition, it was the Congress Muslims who came to the aid. And they acted as mediators between the powers that be and the Muslim community. Maulana Azad and Rafi Ahmad Kedwar in particular. There was a very independent-minded Muslim, a wise man who was one of the tallest leaders in the Muslim League, now Muhammad Ismail of Meerut. But Qaid-e-Azam wanted a yes man. So he preferred Chaudhry Khalid-ur-Zaman. A youth military secretary wrote a book in which he said, I saw the Governor General's house. He said, "Nawab Sahib, aren't you going to Pakistan?" He said, "Why should I? This is my country, I live here." He had, and Jinnah is on record saying, that man will say, now he's talking sense. There was never any, they regarded each other well, but Nawab Sahib had an old mind. Unfortunately, Qaeda was selected Chaudhry Khalid-ur-Zaman. And thereby had that tail. Chaudhry Khalid-ur-Zaman, under French India, issued a statement supporting the Indian case of Kashmir. Next time he went to Karachi, as he was waiting for Muhammad Ali Jinnah to enter the hall, there comes the Qaeda with a paper in his hand, showed him the statement. He said, "Sir, I am an Indian." He said, "Yes, it has harmed us enormously." Next thing Khalid-ur-Zaman did was to put on a burqa and leave within months. This is what happened to Muslims. Zayd Lari, Hussain Imam, they were leaderless. Now, a Muslim League was imposed on Muslims and a mouse was appointed the leader. Muhammad Ismail of Madras, who was not even a member of the League Working Committee. And he made himself Khair-e-Millah. Now this man prospered. Thanks to a saintly man in Kerala, Sayyid Baba Thanga. And that is how the Muslim League came up. The point is, Qaeda had said very sensibly in 1937, safeguards alone are not enough. You must have a share in power. That's it. Safeguards are necessary. I'll give you the exact date, 5th February 1938. After partition, Surwandi drew up a charter. Nehru was in favor, a charter of minority rights. Unfortunately, Gandhi wrote some nasty comments about Jinnah in the margin. Khalid-ur-Zaman showed it to Jinnah and then realized in the middle, he took it back. And Jinnah said, "I want that copy." Khalid-ur-Zaman said, "I have lost it." So Jinnah said, "It's a pity you have lost it." But this is how it fell through. But what could the charter have done? I'm coming to a central point. The mere legal constitutional safeguards are not enough. Jinnah was right in 37-38. All his life, he wanted Muslims to be in the national mainstream, have a share in the power. These safeguards can be paper safeguards. However, Patel then said, put forward in the Constituent Assembly the advisory committee of report on minorities, of which he was chairman, and which provided for reservation for seats for Muslims. In 1949, he withdrew it, and in my opinion, very rightly. He said the conditions have changed, and he delivered a very sensible speech. He said, "Do you want to have your own faithful men elected, or you want to share in power? The Muslims will be elected by separate electors, will be in a minority. They will never be able to join the ministry. You don't want to share power? I'm afraid, I'm telling you, this is no good. Reservation is no good. I want to digest here from here." In 1994, a Muslim leader of India accused those leaders of betrayal for abandoning. That shows that even as late as 1994, that mentality hadn't gone. Bhai, mahol badal gaya. Sardar Patel was sensible in 47, by 49 he said, "Nahi ho sakta." You couldn't sell it to the Congress people, and it was unwise. As Ambedkar said, isolation is the worst thing that can happen to a minority. By separate electorates, dairy ki masjid banayenge aap. In joint electorates, the Hindu will seek Muslim votes and the Muslim will seek Hindu votes. I'll give this. I happened to be in the States in 1964 when young students went south and got the black register. This is a boom. However, what happened is that for some time there was a complete silence on the minority rights, and the curve turned in February 61 with the Jabalpur Raj, February 1961. Until then, strangely enough, and that coincided with the formation of the Jalsa and the rise of the RSS. Jabalpur Raj, this is an official document published the Srinagar Conference of the National Integration Council around middle of June 1948. They said that this is the position. The position was that Muslims could not even meet to seek redress for their wrongs. Funnily enough, there was a meeting at the height of the riots in Sambalpur. They passed a resolution. The resolution was not for protection or compensation. The resolution was to send a telegram to the UN Security Council supporting India's case of Kashmir. So the Kashmir issue became and still is a loyalty test for Muslims. By that test, of course, I am a traitor. But I don't believe that my loyalty is to be judged. I am a good Indian precisely because I believe it is not in the national interest to keep this dispute hanging around. Or for that matter, about the dispute in China. At this time, Dr. Syed Mahmood, the old time, I hate the word nationalist Muslim. I mean, they would also use the word nationalist Hindu. Dr. Syed Mahmood had a convention. And I remember very well, I'm old enough to recall, the Congress Working Committee criticized it, excuse me, Congress Working Committee criticized it, the press railed against it. He included congressmen. Then in 1964, he set up All India Muslim Majlis Mushawara. I mentioned I was not, and I'm still not anybody, but Dr. Syed Mahmood, with his affection, invited me to join. I said, Dr. Sahab, I'll join immediately. On what condition? You open the doors to the non-Muslims. Because it is my belief that every act of discrimination against an Indian on ground of religion, race, color, sex, or whatever, is an Indian lapse from Indian ideals. It's a matter for all Indians. And I'll come to it when I give concrete suggestions. He said, "वो तो मेरे बस की बात नहीं है." You know the course that the Mushawara took. The stage came when the last few years they wanted funds to set up a big building. I asked one of them, I said, "क्या करोगे? What will you do in the building? What will you do? आपके इंडियन चार है वो मिल सकते हैं किसी हॉल में." However, nothing happened. And the test came in Babri Masjid. The best research of Babri Masjid has been done by non-Muslims. Nirendran Bhattacharya, Robila Thapar, name them. Only Akhtar Ali Sahib of Aligarh did some work. And even that doesn't compare well. The Muslims set up action committees comprising Muslims alone. Now, for God's sake, that mosque was covered by the Act of 1958 as an ancient monument. This was the time for statesmanship, and Muslims should have said, we will organize every secular-minded person who wants to protect them. Mr. Shabuddin had done research. I remember I was in touch with him then the Chamudra, but that's a proposal he should have read when the senior reached in the night. He immediately rushed to Rajiv Gandhi and showed it to him. It fell flat. Then came another statement. If there's a temporal belief, I will be the first, but he was nobody to speak on their behalf. The point is that the Sant Parivar said we'll dig up evidence, and that's how the case got delayed and is delayed before the Supreme Court today. Although the Supreme Court in its 1994 judgment said, nothing doing, we are not going to history. It is the suit in which a mosque was converted into a temple by the placing of icons. The inevitable happened. These Muslim bodies, action committees and non-action committees split. Madhur Limaye would have been very happy to see people emulate his example. And after that, the Muslim leaders didn't remain idle. They began a plea for reservations. That was as late as 1994. Then there was a movement for empowerment. Who would empower you? The people in power. The point is, if the people in power discriminate against you, why would they empower you? You don't get empowerment as a boon. Azadi मांगे नहीं जाती, आजादी और हुकूक छीने जाते हैं. Anyway, it came to nothing. All those years are wasted. And this, I am coming to a part which may be controversial. Muslims didn't realize that Indian secularism was living on borrowed time. Nehru was facing a maturity. You will find it in the Foreign Secretary, Randy Gajendra book, outside the archives. He said, "Sir, won't you address the trainees of Foreign Service?" So somebody said, at the time the Kerala communist minister had come to power, and somebody said, communism. So Pandit kept right up and said, communism, communism. The danger to India is not from communism, it's from right-wing Hindu fascists. He was the man who saw it. And the Muslims didn't. They didn't help Nehru, they didn't help themselves. भीख मांगते फिरते थे, ये दो, वो दो. अरे तुम तो mobilize करो, खुदा के बंदो. There were any number of Hindus or Christians and others who would have joined hands with them. Those years are wasted, in my opinion. And then the San Parivar grew. I don't need to describe it as it is today. And we are where we are today. Now, having taken you through all this dismal record, what are my suggestions? First and foremost, I would like to see an organization on the lines of NAACP of the United States. National Association for Advancement of Colored Peoples, which had rights as well as rights. If I had my way, if I were in public life, I would have set it up. Invited my Hindu friends, Mani and others, come on, and you be cruel friends and tell us when we go wrong. But this must be an Indian group or a thing across here which is concerned with the discrimination of Muslims. What a powerful body it would have been. Secondly, I would have said documentation. I'm sorry, Muslims are not good in research. Pamphlets karenge yahan, nikal aaya wahan. Take riots. I've yet to see a single compilation of riots since '61. I was very happy to see Mr. Vibhuti Narayan. He's done stupendous work, very noble work on Hashipura. Mr. Dr. John Dayal is here, he has done noble work. Wait, complete the data and put it forward before your Hindu friends. There's a lot of goodwill still for Muslims. I practice law in a predominantly non-Muslim milieu in the Bombay High Court. And when I was put in prison, my Hindu friends got together and said, we'll petition for his release and we will not accept a single Muslim signature, so it will have no meaning. They didn't agree with my views, but they said, no, this is wrong. You have not tapped, Muslims have not tapped that reservoir of goodwill. Riots, is the problem? The problem is that to deny discrimination is to deny the truth. But there is a form of agitation which aggravates. I've heard many of my friends say, "Bhai, kya? Is it a crime to be born a Hindu? Sara वक्त आप कहते कि ये है वो है." There is a form of agitation which aggravates. Muslims must develop a form and context of agitation which heals old wounds, does not impose new ones. And that you can do only by secularizing the agitation. Include them here. Thirdly, no political party is interested, because the political party will come to power on the strength of the majority votes. You saw it in 1967, the Samyukta Vidhan. They conceded Urdu as a second language and the coalition. Accept the realities. Don't push things too far. Above all, learn from others. And here I would say the Kurdish example in 2015. The Kurdish party in Turkey joined hands with the oppressed, and they made a splendid showing. They remained committed to it, but they expanded, and the New York Times committed. Look at these people. I see no movement among Muslims to widen your horizons, to widen your approach. My last suggestion to Muslims is, please involve yourself in national issues. I don't want to be personal, but as far as I can, I'm sorry, I'm an economic illiterate, but as far as constitutional issues are concerned, issues of foreign policy are concerned, administrative issues are concerned, I engage myself wholeheartedly. I would like Muslims that, like the late Vice Chancellor of Aligarh, no, the economist, Khusro, first great economist. We must then Dalits, but don't hang down with Dalits as a counter to the majority Hindu, because you're making a big mistake. Nothing will succeed which is insincere. Take interest in matters of defense. Take interest in matters of administration. Above all, take interest in agriculture, economy, and in the small handicrafts in which Muslims are employed, especially in UP and Bihar. Do it in comparatively. Finally, I can say though that it is not isolation, it is involvement which provides the solution. And I can only recite a couplet which I learned when I was in jail. आशिया बनाऊंगा मैं अब हरे शाख पर, आशिया बनाऊंगा मैं अब हरे शाख पर, क्या मेरी जिद में बागवा सारा चमन मिटाएगा?